Hey guys, this is Nick Bratton of Bratton Sports Performance. Earlier this week, I put out a blog post transitioning from sport to sport where we talked about our athletes who come out of their fall sports and go into their winter sports, or even our athletes when they go from their winter sports to their spring sports, and just when they have to make that quick transition. A couple of the things that I look for and some of the ideas within there. Now, one topic that I talked about is assessing movement, both specifically within joints and certain areas of the body, but also grand movements and those larger movements that they have to go through that may be different from one sport to the other. So today there's two assessments that I'm going to take you through. We're going to go through one of the ankle mobility assessments that we go through, but also one of the hip assessments that we go through. And this is not specific to any sport, but just a couple of those drills that we use within all of our athletes just to see where we're at. So we'll get set up, and then I'm going to take you through each of those. All right, guys. So the first thing that I'm going to take you guys through is an evaluation through the anterior hip and also the quad. You know, a lot of the athletes that we have coming out of the fall sports right now, whether it's football or volleyball, even some of our cross-country runners, we tend to see a lot of tightness within the front side of the hip and the leg, and so this is one of those evaluation techniques that we're going to go through. So Jeff's going to help me out. He's going to get set up for me. What we're going to do is we're going to get set up on a bench here, but it can also be done on an athletic training table. We're going to lay on that bench so that our hips are right out toward the end. Now what I'm going to have him do is he's going to grab his right knee and he's going to pull it into his chest. So by doing this, what we do is we get our hips set in a fairly neutral position. Now, as I look at the front of his hip and his knee, we've actually got pretty good hip extension. We've got good alignment here, but you can see that his quad is fairly tight. You know, we're probably at about 135, 145 degrees of flexion there, and so because of that, I can tell that he's got some tightness within his quad. Now, if I notice that the knee was raised a little bit more, that's going to tell me that we've got a little bit of tightness within that hip flexor. So as we go through this, all right, perfect, thank you. As we go through this, when I look at these two areas, that's going to give me an idea of kind of where we're at and the steps that we need to take moving forward in order to get them in a good position going into their next sport. Hey guys, this is Nick Bratton from Bratton Sports Performance. Today we're going to go through another evaluation. We're going to go through an evaluation of the mobility within our ankle. One drill that we do is a mobility drill at the wall, where we're just testing our ability to get into that dorsiflexion. And so Jeff's going to help me out here. I've got a tape measure on the ground. We like to use this just to be able to have a quantitative value for it. And so this is something that we'll do when we evaluate our athletes initially, but something that we can also do before they go into their sport and also after they come out of their sport as they're transitioning from one sport to another. So what we'll do is we'll put the tape right up against the wall. Then we're going to have our athletes start out with one foot, toe right up against the wall. They're going to go foot flat on the ground. We want to try and keep that foot flat the entire time. We don't want the heel to come up. And all we're going to do is have them take their knee into the wall. If they're able to take their knee into the wall, the foot does not come up off the ground, then what we'll have them do is we'll have them slide back an inch or two. We'll go through that same process again. The foot stays flat. They take that front knee into the wall, come back out. Same thing. If they're able to do that and they don't feel any type of stretch through that soleus or down through the lower calf, then we'll have them slide back again. And we'll continue to repeat this process until we get to the point where they are not able to touch their knee to the wall, or they do so and their heel comes up. Now, as I talked about our athletes who transition from sport to sport, this is something where we can get that quantitative number, we can see where they're at, we can also compare right to left for some of those athletes who might have gone through experiencing an ankle sprain or any type of injury throughout the season. We can evaluate if there's any discrepancy from side to side or from preseason to postseason. So go ahead, grab a tape measure, put yourself up against a wall, go through this same drill. If you have any questions about it, please feel free to contact me.